I'm so pathetic when it comes to knowing what movies I've done. I'm sorry. I just...
Hollywood, the promised land of glittering dreams, where love stories are woven into the sky of fame. But sometimes that halo becomes the thing that burns, exposing the most naked and painful corners. The story of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, two names once associated with glamour and success, has become one of the most complicated, noisy, and divisive legal and media tragedies in modern entertainment history. This is not simply a noisy celebrity divorce. It is a legal battle that has lasted for years, with horrifying allegations of domestic violence, substance abuse, lies, and manipulation. And most importantly, it raises painful questions about the nature of truth, about gender stereotypes, about the destructive power of the media, and about the price of fame in the Hollywood era. Today we will delve into each layer of the Depp-Heard lawsuit of the century, from the early days of passion to the relentless legal battle in the UK and the US. It all started quite typically in Hollywood. In 2009, on the set of The Rum Diary, Johnny Depp, then one of the biggest movie stars in the world, an icon of eccentricity and talent, met Amber Heard, a beautiful, ambitious, and rising young actress. The attraction between them was undeniable. Depp, 22 years older than Heard, seemed to be fascinated by her beauty and generosity. Heard, in turn, was probably attracted by Depp's fame, experience, and special charm. Their relationship officially began after Depp split from his long-term partner, Vanessa Paradis, in 2012. They quickly became one of Hollywood's most sought-after couples, with their images plastered across red carpets and magazines. In February 2015, they held a private, lavish wedding on Depp's private island in the Bahamas. However, the reality was not so rosy. Just 15 months after their wedding, in May 2016, the world was shocked when Amber Heard filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. But things quickly escalated far beyond a simple divorce. Days later, Heard appeared in court with bruises on her face, seeking a temporary restraining order against Depp. She accused him of throwing a phone at her face during an argument and of being constantly physically abusive, especially when he was using alcohol and drugs. Depp's side immediately denied all allegations, claiming that Heard was trying to secure a quick financial settlement by alleging abuse. The battle was not only fought in the courtroom but also exploded on the media front. Photos, text messages, and accounts from sources close to both sides were continuously released, painting completely contradictory pictures of their relationship. In August 2016, a $7 million divorce settlement was signed. Amber Heard publicly announced that she would donate the entire amount to two charities: Children's Hospital Los Angeles, CHLA, and the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, with a particular emphasis on the ACLU's work to combat violence against women. The two released a joint statement attempting to calm the public. "Our relationship was intensely passionate and at times volatile, but always bound by love. Neither party made false accusations for financial gain. There was never any intention to cause physical or emotional harm. The temporary restraining order was lifted. The divorce was officially finalized in January 2017. It seemed like the storm had passed, but Heard's promise to donate to charity later became a key point of contention in later court proceedings, when Depp's side accused her of not fully fulfilling her commitment and using it as a PR tool. This is a typical example of how seemingly small details in the early stages can have huge legal and ethical implications later. After the divorce, both Depp and Heard tried to rebuild their careers. However, the specter of the allegations still lingers. In April 2018, the leading British tabloid, The Sun, published an article with the shocking headline, "Gone Potty. How can J.K. Rowling be genuinely happy casting wife-beater Johnny Depp in the new Fantastic Beasts film?" The article not only repeated Heard's allegations, but also directly called Depp a wife-beater. For Depp, this was an unacceptable insult, a heavy blow to his reputation and career, which were showing signs of recovery. He decided to take action. Depp sued News Group newspapers, the parent company of The Sun, for libel at the High Court in London. The trial, which took place in July 2020, lasted 3 weeks and attracted global media attention, although it was not televised like the later U.S. trial. Amber Heard was not a defendant, but she was a witness, most important, to The Sun. Australian incident, March 2015, where Depp had his fingertips severed. Depp accused Heard of throwing a vodka bottle at him, causing the injury. Heard accused Depp of injuring himself in a drunken, jealous rage and then using blood from his injured finger to write abusive messages on the walls and mirrors. Private plane incident, May 2014. Heard accused Depp of shouting at her and kicking her in the back while in a drunken rage. Depp admitted to drinking and arguing but denied any violence. Other allegations. Heard detailed 14 alleged incidents of abuse, including being hit, slapped, pulled by the hair, and threatened. Depp denied all of these, counterclaiming that it was Heard who was the abuser, constantly aggressive, throwing objects and attacking him. Depp has acknowledged his past struggles with alcohol and drug addiction, but insists he is not the monster Heard described him as when drunk. In November 2020, Judge Andrew Nicol handed down a 129-page judgment that went completely against Johnny Depp. He concluded that The Sun had proven its story to be substantially true under civil standards. I have found that the vast majority of the alleged assaults against Miss Heard have been proven under civil standards, he wrote. He also rejected Depp's argument that Heard was a gold digger or had made up the allegations. The ruling was a devastating blow to Depp. It was not just a defeat against a tabloid, but also confirmation by a British court that the abuse allegations against him were well-founded. The fallout was almost immediate. Warner Brothers demanded that Johnny Depp relinquish his role as the dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald in the blockbuster Fantastic Beasts series, a major part of his career at the time. The complete defeat in the UK seemed to put an end to Depp's legal efforts to restore his reputation. But he was not giving up. Another front with different rules was waiting on the other side of the Atlantic. The American front, Depp versus Heard, the TV trial, and the battle for the truth. In March 2019, Johnny Depp filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard in Fairfax County, Virginia, seeking $50 million in damages. Why Virginia? The reason given was that the Washington Post's servers were located there. It was considered weaker than California, where both actors lived. As mentioned, the U.S. defamation laws were higher for Depp. He must prove 3 things. The editorial contained false statements about him. Those statements caused him harm. Heard acted with actual malice, meaning she knew what she wrote was false or had a reckless disregard for the truth. This is an extremely difficult standard to meet in lawsuits involving public figures. Amber Heard is not giving in. She filed a countersuit against Depp, seeking $100 million in damages. Heard alleges that Depp, through his former lawyer Adam Waldman, waged a coordinated smear campaign against her. She points to 3 specific statements Waldman made in the Daily Mail in 2020, in which Waldman called Heard's allegations an abusive hoax, contrived, and false. Heard argues that those statements are also defamatory and made with actual malice. Fairfax trial, April-June 2022. When the courtroom becomes a global stage. If the London trial was a major media event, the trial in Fairfax, Virginia, was a cultural earthquake. The 6-week trial, from April to June 2022, was televised live around the world. The decision to allow cameras into the courtroom transformed a complex civil case into a reality show, a multi-part drama watched and commented on by millions every day. Both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard sat on the witness stand for days. giving emotional, contradictory, and sometimes shocking testimony. Depp portrayed himself as the victim of an abusive, mentally unstable wife. He detailed his own verbal and physical attacks by Heard, denying that he had ever hit her or any other woman. He acknowledged his struggles with substance abuse, but insisted that Heard had exaggerated and distorted the truth. He focused on how the editorial had damaged his career and reputation, particularly losing the role of Jack Sparrow. Depp's testimony was often calmer, sometimes with dark humor, which seemed to resonate with a large segment of the online audience. Heard reaffirmed the allegations of physical and sexual abuse against Depp. She recounted the alleged incidents in detail, often breaking down in tears on the witness stand. She described Depp as a jealous, controlling, and violent man, especially when under the influence of alcohol and drugs, a monster. She insisted that the editorial was true and that she had a right to speak about her experience as a survivor of domestic abuse. However, the way Heard's emotional expression was widely seen as acted and inauthentic, and she became the subject of countless memes and online ridicule. The trial featured a large body of evidence, much of which had already been used in the UK, but was viewed with a different lens and with greater public scrutiny. Audio recordings of the arguments continued to be a focus. The recording of Heard admitting to hitting Depp and mocking him for being a male victim of abuse was used extensively by Depp's side. Depp's gruesome text messages to friends, in which he used violent and derogatory language about Heard, for example talking about burning and drowning her, were presented by Heard's side as evidence of his violent nature. Depp's side argued that these were simply words uttered in anger, using dark humor and not reflecting actual actions. Heard's side presented images of injuries and a messy room after the argument. Depp's side presented images of his own injuries, which he alleged were caused by Heard. The authenticity and context of many of the images and videos were hotly contested by both sides. Several people testified, including friends, family, security personnel, agents, medical and psychological experts. Supermodel Kate Moss, Depp's ex-girlfriend, testified via video to refute rumors that Depp had pushed her down a flight of stairs in the past. Depp's side focused on Heard's failure to fulfill her promise to donate $7 million in divorce settlement money to the ACLU and CHLA. The ACLU confirmed that Heard had only paid a small portion and that the majority of the money she paid actually came from other sources, including Elon Musk, Heard's ex-boyfriend. This was used by Depp's side to undermine Heard's credibility and trustworthiness before the jury. A massive online backlash against Johnny Depp has taken hold. The hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp has gone viral. Countless videos of Amber Heard being edited, analyzed, mocked, and praised have been created and shared millions of times. Many social media users have turned themselves into investigators, drawing strong conclusions based on short clips taken out of context. Amber Heard has become the target of a fierce online campaign. She has been ridiculed for her appearance, her crying, her testimony. She has been called a liar, a gold digger, a psychopath. The level of vitriol directed at Heard is unprecedented and raises concerns about online bullying and the weaponization of social media. Verdict Day, June 1st, 2022. Depp wins. After nearly 2 days of deliberation, the 7-person jury returned its verdict. For Depp's claim, the jury unanimously found that Amber Heard defamed Johnny Depp in all 3 statements cited in the Washington Post op-ed. More importantly, they found that Heard acted with actual malice. Depp was awarded $10 million in actual damages and $5 million in punitive damages. However, under Virginia law, punitive damages are capped at $350,000. Therefore, the total award for Depp was $10.35 million. For Heard's counterclaim, the jury found that one of 3 statements made by attorney Adam Waldman, supposedly representing Depp, was false, defamatory of Heard, and made with actual malice. That claim was Waldman telling the Daily Mail that Heard and friends had staged the scene after an argument to trap Depp. Heard was awarded $2 million in actual damages and no punitive damages. It was essentially a resounding victory for Johnny Depp. Although Heard also won a small portion of her counterclaim, the jury's verdict was clearly in Depp's favor, agreeing with the argument that Heard's editorial was false and malicious. Depp's loss in the UK, but his big win in the US has sparked much debate and analysis. There are a few key factors that may explain the difference. The UK case asked whether The Sun could prove that the abuse allegations were substantially true. The U.S. case asked whether Heard's editorial contained false, defamatory statements and was written with actual malice. These are two completely different legal questions. The burden of proof is different. In the UK, the burden is on The Sun. In the U.S., the burden is on Depp and on Heard in the counterclaim. Depp succeeded in convincing the U.S. jury that Heard acted with malice. In the UK, there is a single professional judge, Judge Nicole. In the U.S., there is a jury of 7 ordinary citizens. Juries can be influenced by emotional factors. For example, Heard's charitable donations seem to have had a major impact on her credibility with the U.S. jury. After the trial, Depp's side released a statement thanking the jury for giving me my life back. His supporters celebrated the victory as justice served. Heard's side expressed disappointment and heartbreak. Heard called the verdict a step backwards for women and those who speak out, those who speak against violence. She believes it sends a dangerous message that speaking out can lead to public humiliation and legal retaliation. The Depp-Heard case is not over with a jury verdict. Its ramifications continue to reverberate, raising questions and reshaping discussions about many important social issues. The impact on the Me Too movement. This is one of the most controversial and complex aspects. Depp and Heard's careers. The road ahead. Johnny Depp. The legal victory in the U.S. seems to have paved the way for Depp's comeback. He appeared at the 2023 Cannes Film Festival with the film Jeanne du Barry, receiving a warm welcome from a section of the audience and the industry. He also re-signed a major advertising contract with Dior. However, whether he can fully regain his A-list status remains an open question. His image has certainly been damaged, and many still view him with reservations. Amber Heard. Heard's career prospects appear to be considerably more uncertain. She has largely disappeared from the public eye since the trial, moving to Spain. Her role as Mara in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is said to have been significantly reduced, although the exact extent is still disputed. Hatred and criticism online continue to haunt her. Rebuilding her image and career after the legal defeat and public backlash will be an extremely difficult task. The Johnny Depp-Amber Heard lawsuit is not just a story about two Hollywood stars. It is a mirror of the thorny issues of contemporary society. Both Depp and Heard have suffered heavy losses in their reputations, careers, and spirit. What do you think about the Johnny Depp-Amber Heard scandal? Leave your comments below. We hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos. Bye.